The automotive industry is set for a revolution that will disrupt and reshape global business, threatening the survival of every organization. To make sure you survive and win in the new automotive game, Automotive Growth Expert Roberto Dal Corso has interviewed global experts from the automotive industry to identify the changes and the impacts that are coming to keep you ahead of the curve.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the leading disruptive automotive trends from around the world. And today we have a very special guest and a very good friend from way back. We have Angelo Morino all the way from Brazil, Sao Paulo. Welcome, Angelo. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Roberto, my old friend. I think that we have met maybe 20 years ago, okay? in Cleveland.
It's
2000 when he married with Arvin. Long time ago.
It was a long time ago. We were younger, not better looking, just younger.
Yeah, you are living in South Africa. Remember that?
I do. I mean, but Angelo, you've been in the automotive industry for a long time in Brazil. And, can you just take us through a little bit of how you got into the industry and, what has made it exciting for you to stay in the industry all these years?
I'm engineer, okay? I started my career in Automotive Group, okay? But working on a quality control area. I was quality control manager during 6 years, and then I moved to, at that time, the name of the company is Brazations, it's a joint venture with Rockwell.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we started to work in America, in Rockwell Brazations in Brazil, that's in 1997. And when the group American Rockwell assumed the 100% of the shares in Brazil, that belongs to the family Vidigal group, okay? And I moved my career from the facility, quality control area, to export area. When I was invited to work in Merito at that time, I was talking Merito, but that time we Brazil, okay? And but then I started there and stayed there for 26 years, okay? My career was in commercial area. I was marketing manager, I was account manager for OE, but I stayed working in aftermarket more or less 21 years.
Wow.
In America, yes. And I was the head of the aftermarket in South America during 14 years, reporting to someone abroad Brazil, normally Estados Unidos. You have the same boss several times. Okay, and but it's very exciting because every month you need to achieve the targets, every month you need to learn something, and all the time you have news, you have to break barriers, you have to looking for new opportunities, you need to launch new products. This is that it's very exciting during my career, okay? I left the Merito 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm acting as a consultant during this time. And I support several companies like American Next, so I like other Brazilian companies. And my main focus now is to find new opportunities for Brazilian companies abroad Brazil. But the main focus is the United States, and the second focus is Europe. Okay.
Okay.
Is that who I'm supporting the companies to looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
Because this is my last job. Okay.
Yeah.
Help the people to find a new customer.
Yeah. And Angelo, over the years in the industry that you've had, what has made you successful? Because you've always grown in your career, you've always had more important jobs, you've run the aftermarket in Brazil. What has made you successful?
I think that the major successful is to have a good team. Okay, I used to have a good team. I used one of my bosses used to say that I used to have the dream team when they are famous, the basketball team in America. You know very well, our ex-boss, Mark Portilla, used to say that I have a dream team. I construct a good team. The people are very committed with the results, and they are very open to launching new products that you and I need to build the back. They need to launch products all the time to grow the business. I think that and also one thing that I think that is important also. I can survive with doing this 14 years that we report abroad. I changed the boss along 11 times. It's a very interesting because it's not easy in the aftermarket business. You introduce your boss for some customer in Brazil, and then 1 year after you introduce a new boss. 1 year after you introduce a new boss, the people said, "What's going on?" I say, "The people are promoting. They're doing a good job." Okay. That is some challenges that. The main challenge is to survive in the automotive industry, married on the fierce company.
Yes.
To achieve the goal. This is important. This is the reason that I survive, my team surviving, you need to achieve the goal.
So
it's important to comment that I left the Merdo because the Merdo made a good change in the world, and the 30% of the executives was fired, and the Brazil aftermarket business was closed, and it becomes a department that reported to the facility in Brazil, and all my team was left the company together. Okay, that's the main reason that I left the company. Then, but it's a very exciting time, and I used to belong to the union of the auto parts manufacturers. I was the leader of aftermarket there. Issues during the around 6 years, and I have a strong relationship with the main customers still today. Okay, I still participating a lot in the Brazilian market, in meetings and in seminars, etc., etc.
So your success, you also say, is achieve the targets and build a great dream team.
Yes. Yeah. I think that this is important in your career to have good people working with you. Okay?
Yeah.
Without the people, you can construct a good sales, a team, a good result, and etc.
Yeah, no, that is true. And I mean, Angelo, over the 20 plus years that you've had in the automotive industry, I mean, you must have seen Brazil and the industry in general change so much over the time that you've seen it. Can you just tell us some of the big changes that you have seen?
Basically, you don't have big changes in the when you say the structure, okay? In terms of the market, you still have the distributor, you have the dealers, you have the retailers, okay? You have the end user. It's still very traditional in Brazil, and the dealers in Brazil, the participation of the dealers was not good when you have the A and B parts, okay, volumes, okay? They are still concentrating C parts, and but they are not investing a big amount of money on that. They don't have a good team, they don't have good inventory. The dealers in Brazil is not performing well like you have in Europe and the United States. It's still the very old model applied in Brazil. For sure, they are changing. Some exclusive parts for sure is in the hand of the dealers, but the main fault, I think, one of the problem that we face in Brazil and affect for sure the aftermarket industry, business, not industry, was the Chinese parts. Okay, they are around started maybe 15 years ago. A little bit more. They started people discover the Chinese parts and some other parts like America and the other ones also started with import parts. and in the packaging with Merito brand and other companies' brand, and sell in the market. And also some distributors are still doing the same, okay? Are doing the same. This is the big change that you face. And for example, you joined. Maybe the total market aftermarket in Brazil, I believe no more than 10% of the parts are produced in Brazil. 90% is coming from China or some parts from India. Okay.
Okay.
This is some big change that the aftermarket business face in Brazil. At the same time, you have the currency in Brazil is incredible because it's peak and down. Every 3-4 years you have big change, and you need to take care about when you balance your import and export. You need to try to do your best to keep at the same level, because if you have some changes, you can be affected immediately. For an example, you reduce your export because your product is not more competitive, and at the same time, if you are focused on just important parts, if your currency change, you're losing share. That is the Brazilian market is very complicated in terms of that. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, 2 years ago, you were working for a company, you were exporting for a company that worked for 20 years in the United States. That the dollar was exchange rate. Just an example was 3.8 when you quote. Okay. When you started to sell, the dollar was 3.1. Can you imagine the big problem that you are facing? Okay, because it's impossible to have 50-20% margin that support on that in the international market. All the people working with a small margin, then you will be affected a lot. You have big problems. You are still facing problems because of that. Okay? This is the problem of the Brazilian people face in terms of the aftermarket in automotive industry. Okay, big changes, and also in terms of the changes that happened during this period. You used to have you have to produce in Brazil Mercedes and Volkswagen now, Ford and Scania. Evolve. Okay, now you have new players, Chinese players. You have that. You have other companies came in, Upstart. You have a lot of people came to Brazil during these years.
Yeah.
It's also a big change that you face in the market. For in terms of the truck industry, that is my kindergarten, and it's not big change. 3 or 4, 5 people more, or companies more. But if you quote the cars, you still have 5 players in the market. Now you have 20 players in the market. Then you have a a lot of companies in Brazil. Most of the world is here in Brazil, and as you know, in 2014, Brazil faced a big problem, and we were producing, just for an example, 200,000 trucks in 2013. And the number reduced in 2016 for 14,000, 440. It's almost 25%. 25% that used to have the map. You can imagine the problem that we face in Brazil.
Yeah.
This year probably the truck will produce around 100,000.
Okay.
That used to have 5 years ago.
Wow.
Too big. They were recovering a lot because probably 3 years you are double, but because we reduced it 75%. This is a Brazilian market is very complicated. It's a big change in people came to produce here.
Yeah.
Then you have all the influence. It's important that common that you have some barriers. Okay, you have some big tax import products, but you are almost of us surviving in this model for a long period of years. It's not a big change, but it's a very interesting and challenging all the time. This is you need to guess what will be the currency in 3 months. Okay, this is the big problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly sounds, we've always spoken, it's a very complex market, it's a difficult market to do business in because of some additional factors, and you mentioned, the exchange rate, you mentioned the taxes that are coming in. I mean, from a market structure, it hasn't changed much, but it's become very much far more competitive with all the main brands and vehicle manufacturers being present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the when the Brazil faced the crisis in 2014, the industry and the automotive industry, all the segment, the automotive manufacturers or the OEs, but they are trying to find a way to export. Okay, the OEs try maybe 30% of the 2004 were export. They changed the focus a lot and try to find marketing South American market because your car market is you can say a little old-fashioned models. Okay, it's not so competitive in Europe and the United States or car. Then you need to look for South America company, Central America, South American countries, and then Central American countries. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you need to learn to export more. But it's due to I think due to the exchange rate, it's not the Brazilian auto parts manufacturer, the auto industry is not so good in terms of export due to this fact, because it's difficult. You start to sell, and then you have a big change in big exchange rate change, and then what you do in the next step, you face it. This is that the people are not so good in terms of export. Okay,
Yeah.
You don't have tax benefits for the people that export. You have that around the world. In Brazil, you don't have that.
Okay.
You pay tax when you produce the steel, when you produce the parts, you pay tax, and when assemble the product, the product, you pay tax. Then you don't have a big scale of these taxes, and they affect a lot of costs.
Yeah.
Then this is the one important that you are all the time you are faced in Brazil.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting. You don't have the culture to keep the customers abroad.
Yeah.
It's difficult. When I go to the United States, people start trying to make some agreement. Never you have to sign up the first contract, 3 years contract, 5 years contract. No, just 1 year contract because it's a big high risk.
Yeah.
And normally when you review, it's 1 year more. No one likes to have 5 years contract because it's very, very, very complicated.
Yeah. And I mean, so, is there any changes in maybe the legislation or from the government coming where they might incentivize the exports in the future? Because at the moment, South Africa had the system where for everything you export, you can offset the imports, but it doesn't sound like Brazil has something in place.
All the time they are trying to have something that help the company that export. Okay?
Yeah.
But this kind of help is very, very, I can say, complicated to prove. Okay, that you really are exporting the details about for the rule. All the time they are changing this rule. At this moment, as far as I know, they have a rule that you can recover, I think, 2% of tax. Just 2% of tax. It's not that big. The other time they have some rules. They change the rules because you have pressure in the government to support the companies to export. But when you say it's difficult to create rules when you have the exchange rate that it changes a lot.
Yeah.
If you really, for example, 1 year and a half ago we achieved 3.95. Now this year we achieved 3.21, 3.10. Quer dizer, we talk about 25%.
Yeah.
It's not to have difficult to have a rule that supports this kind of variation. Okay?
Yeah. I understand. There's a big changes, and I mean more for when you act inside the local market. Are you seeing the changes like we see here in Europe, where you've got the big distributors consolidating and becoming stronger?
How prepared are you to navigate the disruptive trends that are set to hit your business? Will you survive and win in the coming years? To understand your level of risk exposure and to help you avoid becoming a statistic of failure, take the free risk assessment here, www.dalcorsogroup.com, which will identify the gaps and how to navigate the risks. By taking the risk assessment, you get a chance to win a free 30-minute strategy session with Automotive Growth Expert Roberto Dal Corso. Roberto can help you identify an amount equivalent to 7% of your total annual sales that you are leaving on the table each year. To survive and win, take action now and visit www.dalcorsogroup.com.
Well, first, when you talk about how to, you just have one OE in Brazil that is not an international company. The name is Agrali, is not performing well. Okay, in terms of truck, in terms of car, you don't have any company, Brazilian company producing car here. When you talk about the parts manufacturer, like Merito, I can say that 85% of the total sales is for international companies.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that foundry, forges, and the stamping manufacturers that are Brazilian companies, Brazilian family companies. This is the companies that still survive and not to be acquired or joint venture with some company abroad. You have a big place in Brazil that they still have to be, like Fras-le Group.
Yeah.
It's a Brazilian company. You have shares in the market. Maximum Group, I'll say, but it's a few big groups in Brazil that are surviving. Okay, you have a Simpal, it's a big group in terms of the foundry, stamping, etc.
Yeah.
And much engines, but it's still, you don't big change on that. Okay, you have some parts that will be acquired when the Japanese companies came to Brazil. They have agreement, international agreement to auto parts manufacturers. And then they came to Brazil and they're looking for someone that produce similar parts. They make some joint ventures. They have some acquisition, but not a big change that you have in Europe.
Okay.
And you have the Navstar, for example. They are talking in the future to have just one company. If they have the same in Brazil, they are joined. They have the Scania and the Volkswagen, but still totally separate in Brazil. Okay, they have some accounting together, but still have two purchasing team. They still have the two sales team. Okay.
Okay.
They are joined part by part, but it's still very slow.
Okay.
That's not because when you talk about the European and American market, you are talking about the 7-8 times more sales parts. Talking the Brazilian market, okay? This is the problem that it's difficult to join companies, okay? And they due to the crisis, most of the companies, Brazilian companies, face problems in terms of finance. In fact, face big finance problems. Still maybe with some debts in the banks, etc.
Yeah.
It's difficult to have some joint ventures. We have some acquisitions for us about two companies in Brazil. But it's still very slow, this kind of change that you have in Europe, okay?
Yeah. No, that is interesting. I mean, it's certainly a very different market with different difficulties locally. You know, whether it's the debt, the exchange, or trying to export out of the country, it's very, very different. And I mean, what else? You mentioned earlier you've now starting to help companies in Brazil that manufacture locally to export into the US as a primary market. I mean, what do you see are these companies' biggest problems that you're able to help them with?
The big problem, I think, is that is really to focus in export. And they understand, the companies need to understand that the exchange rate it's part of the problem that you face several times if you keep the business abroad. Okay, sometimes you be very good for you because the exchange rate you go to with the exchange rate for 3.10 and the dollar you be 3.8, and you are making a big amount of money and with just exchange rate, and reducing cost, nothing. But also when you have it the other way, that the other side, okay, you need to assume that you lose some business, but you recover in the future. This balance is difficult to convince the companies in Brazil. This is the big challenge, okay? And also, the big challenge is to participate with the international price, okay?
Yes.
When you go to US, all the people would like to go to US and sell to US and sell to Europe. It's a little more closed market in Europe. But because the market is bigger, then you need to, the volume is very high. And when you go to there, the people like to pay the foundry maybe we'll talk about $1 per kilo, 90 cents per kilo. But in Brazil, are selling for $1.50 per kilo. But if you be a player in this kind of market, you need to sell for the price of the market, not the price that you would like to have on the market. This is the problem that you are facing. The main problem that you are facing in Brazil is to convince the people that sometimes you make more money, sometimes you lose some money, but in the balance you survive. This is the reason that I talked at the beginning.
Yes.
Maybe you need to try to balance your purchasing team need to import at the same level that you are. For one example, if you are export 20% of the revenue of the company, you need to buy around 20% to import, because you can keep the level, then you can. If you are making money buying, you are losing money selling, you balance, okay?
Yeah.
The second, when you have to
In the reverse.
That's and I mean.
But the problem that it's normal. The people like to have the result at the end of the month, not at the end of the 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
This is the problem that it's normal. You know that you are working for an American company. That's you need to have to achieve the result. It's This is the problem that the main problem that you face in Brazil to export. You can't be competitive in terms of foundry and forges, but it's difficult to compete in the gears and the other kind of parts that you have a manufacturing, because some companies here you have the old fashion production line, okay? It's difficult to compete abroad, okay?
And in your experience, now that you started to look at it more, is the Brazilian product competitive against, I'm not going to talk about, the low-cost Chinese product, but against some Chinese, Indian, and Turkish products?
Yes, you can compete, okay? The company that I'm working, one of the companies that I'm working for, you can compete with the Chinese. Not with the low-cost products, but Chinese good products and the Indian good products, okay? You can compete, okay?
Okay.
And also, you need to have quality. For example, the company that you are working for, you have quality. This is very important, okay?
Yes.
The market pays for a good product easily 10% more, okay? And we have a good brand, when you say that Brazilian products, the people understand now that you have equality, because you have all the OEs in Brazil, then you need to follow ISO, etc. All the IAS, etc. Rules that the OEs are created to improve the quality and reduce the cost, etc. Then to survive in Brazil, you need to have quality. Companies that have quality not survive.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the problem that we're still facing some advantages against the Chinese products. Because if our customer, Brazilian Brazil, the people that buy parts from Brazil, they know that they will receive the same quality products in 1 year, no big change, no risk, no. Then I face problems because you know that I import a lot of new joints. You face big problems that the guy changed the products. They will not inform you that they receive not them, and then it's something that you have processed here. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the main problem. But it's I think that Brazil, this crisis that he helped to the people to think out of the box. Okay, they need to be more creative. They need to focus more in quality. They need to know. They need to all the companies need to reduce the costs a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe now you are. I'm sure that you are preparing to compete in the marketing abroad Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you reduce the costs a lot. Now you know a little bit more about the advantages of exporting, but it's still. But you, for example, have these two companies that I mentioned that, like Maxim and the group Frasle group, but they exporting more than 30% of the production. They have companies abroad Brazil. This is the people. This is the company that understood how to survive abroad.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's interesting because earlier you mentioned, that Brazilian companies need to be more creative, more innovative in how they cut costs and how they adapt and move into the markets. Have you seen a change within the companies driven by management at the high level to try and help internally for companies to be more creative, more innovative, or is that still not a automatic thing happening in the market from your side?
The problem that the company needs to survive in the crisis, okay? They reduce a lot of people, and for sure a lot of people that have experience in the companies, okay? And the intellectual capital left the company, several companies. And I think that they when you say the innovations that you have around the world, etc. For an example, the company that I can say my experience in Froome, that for example, the company like American international company, they are supporting and helping Froome with the ideas to reducing costs.
Okay.
It's happening a lot in Brazil. The companies like I say the companies like Meritor, Eaton, Dana, etc. It's just to give an example in my common field, automotive field. They support the suppliers. Also in terms of the idea about the raw material, they try to help them to create a pool to reduce the cost. They try to create idea in terms of innovation to always sell, do something different. More the companies, this kind of companies like I comment, they are trying to support their suppliers to be more competitive and not to repair all the problems that face in terms of raw material, etc.
Yeah.
This is that happen more. The people are, the company, the suppliers, the customer are helping more the medium and small companies to reduce costs, maybe in terms of the administrative ideas, etc. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is something that is happened in Brazil at this moment.
Okay.
And I mean, in your experience, if a company from the US or Europe wanted to come in and start, sales or start an operation in Brazil, what advice would you have for them?
Of course, to come to Brazil, they need to have a world agreement with some OEs, because if he came to here and had some contract, and because of to come and started to look for customers, it will be a big risk because the company that are supplying, for sure, you will reduce the price in order to keep the business. Then they invest a big amount of money, then you can face a big problem. This high risk. You need to come that you need to have some contract with Volkswagen or Renault or with Nissan or etc. You need to have some contract that you produce in Brazil.
Yeah.
You be established in Brazil but you need to have the contract that you supply the company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I face it problems. Remember you are when you have other companies that came to Brazil to produce exhaust products,
Mm-hmm.
and then you invest $5 million in a company or facility, RV, invest a lot.
Yeah.
Then you need to have the contract to supply Japanese companies in Brazil, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, etc. And they construct a facility to produce 100 million exhausts per year. And you have in your hands by commitment of the supplies, sorry, not exhaustive, but the shock absorbers.
Yeah.
I have it in your hands around 500 parts per year.
Okay.
And at that time, COFAP in Brazil, that now belongs to Magnetic Marelli, reduced the price in 25%. Then you just keep 120 parts per year.
Wow.
Then you can imagine the problem that you invest just in the painting area, you invest $1.5 million. Then this is the risk that you need to have.
Yeah.
You need to be sure that the company, you have the contract, not to be surprised if they reduce the local supply, reduce the price, etc.
Mm-hmm.
This is the main risk, okay?
Yeah.
When you come to if you are distributor and came to Brazil, it's a very interesting market, the aftermarket, and they have some European groups to Brazil, and they have two groups that came to Brazil, one American, and they start. They are gaining share. I think not so fast that they are expecting.
Okay.
But they are gaining share. They are learning the market, the customers, because the aftermarket is a relationship market, I used to say. Okay?
Mm.
And you need to know the people.
Yeah.
You need to shake the hand. You need to have lunch. You need to have dinner. You need to visit.
Yeah.
It's not a computer. It's not an internet business.
No.
In Brazil, is still on that field. Okay.
Mm.
Maybe the future can change, but then they need to have good people that people know the market, to open doors, to
Yeah.
meet customers, etc. This is the challenge that it is distributor that came to Brazil, or is it the same that all the time you have challenge, and the people have challenge around the world.
Yeah.
Then you came to the people that came to Brazil in 2012, in 2013, then the market reduced 55% 1 year, and the people invest a big amount of money, and the surprise, the market disappeared.
Yeah.
Wow, that's scary. That's scary. And I mean, your plans for this year? Are we going to see you at Automechanica helping some of the Brazilian companies come across to Europe?
They have the auto parts manufacturing, CDPS. They used to have a big booth in Automechanica.
Mm-hmm.
And normally they came with the only 15, 20 associates.
Okay.
And they have some companies like Zen Metallurgica, Zen. They have 3 or 4 that they used to have a booth the Automechanica show in UK.
Yeah.
But it's like a more, I can say, to work the brand, okay? Looking for some partnership, but to export, you have some the company that export for in Europe and Brazil normally they sell to, for example, to Bosch in Brazil. They also sell for Bosch in Germany.
Okay.
And it's difficult to sell the aftermarket in Europe because you have rules for brakes, for linings, etc.
Yeah.
etc. Okay. Then, but it's the people normally goes every 2 years to that.
Yeah.
Try to open doors, okay. on the company that I support, it's lighting company, Brazil. They used to go to, not in Frankfurt, they go to Hanover. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, IAA, that's it.
Yes. But they are supply some lighting products for boost companies in Europe, okay?
Okay.
There's some kind to open the market.
Yeah.
But it's not but for example, you have the people goes more. I can say to you that the people from Brazil go more to the Euro or the Automechanica that they go to American fairs. Okay?
So America is still the big market everybody wants to go to.
Yeah, they prefer to go to Automechanica, and also because the truck platforms is a European Brazil. Okay?
Yeah.
And it is more common to have the model, etc.
It's true, that's true. And are you going to come to Frankfurt this year?
I don't know yet. Okay. We are discussing with one of my customers if you are going because you are looking for new products to launch in the aftermarket portfolio, and I very still in doubt if you go to China or go to the Automechanica.
Okay.
Yeah. Customer there, not sure.
Okay, no.
Probably no. Probably no.
That's a pity. I was hoping to see you.
Thank you. I should hope to go there. Okay. Thank you.
You let me know. And changing gears a little bit, I mean, I know that when I met you, your wife was writing children's books. Does she still do that?
Yes. Working a lot because they are to children. The book, one of their books collection, 8 books. Probably next 1 week, 10 weeks, she'll finish this job.
Wow.
And but it started, I can say, in August last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they reduce your travels a lot. Okay. I'm going to France on April 18th.
Okay.
And stay 2 weeks there and to drink good wine. And I have a birthday of a daughter of my cousin. Then and it will be very nice. We'll meet the family there.
Nice. No, that is good to hear. And I mean, Angelo, I know you play tennis. Are you still playing tennis actively?
Yeah, I just play tennis, bicycle.
Yeah?
Swimming. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, you...
At least swimming 2 times per week and tennis 3 times per week.
Wow. No, but you have the perfect weather in Brazil. You've got great weather for sport.
Yes, again, the weather is great. Yes, for sure.
It's true. And
no, it's raining a lot, but it's okay, it's nice.
no. Angelo, I can only say thank you so much. I know you've pushed for time, and I can only say thank you for making yourself available. Thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Thank you, Robbie. It's a pleasure for me to talk with you again, always.
Hey, my pleasure, and thank you so much, Angelo. Bye.
I hope that you have enjoyed and found value in watching this interview. If you want to learn more about the leading disruptive automotive trends impacting the industry, check out www.dalcorsogroup.com. I encourage you to share it with colleagues that will appreciate great industry insights. Join us tomorrow for more experts from around the world.